Okay, so it's the first Raw of the new year, and it was an old school Raw. So it began with Flair. Flair, fresh off being invited to talk to the 49ers for a pep talk where they got to defeat the Green Bay Packers. Being someone who lives near Chicago, thank you, Rick, for helping the 49ers power through and defeat the Green Bay Packers. That's all I really know of football currently. Sorry. Orton comes down. They have a bit of an exchange. Looks like Orton's going to attack Ric Flair, but that's okay. John Cena in the jorts comes down. Does almost more of a Dr. Thugonomics style promo. I was hoping he was going to throw out a rap on him, like old school battle rap, but he didn't, so. They hyped their match, of course, for Royal Rumble, and then they did nothing. Piper had the pit where he had the Shield on. Really good job. My wife absolutely hates Ambrose now because of the way he's done his hair, which is good, because that means Ambrose is getting over slightly more as an aggravating heel. Did a good job getting into Piper's face. Piper got into their faces and like, you can't beat Punk. You can't beat Punk. Reigns. If you beat Punk, does that make you the best member of the Shield? Good way to play that up. The New Age Outlaws and CM Punk come down to make the save. My first thought was we totally needed Teddy Long and be like, holla, 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 player. 6-man tag. No. We're past the Teddy Long era now, where if you had multiple people in the ring at one time, he would say, player, it's time for a 6-man, 8-man, 4-man, 24-man. Whoever was in that ring would get involved in a tag match, player. Holla, holla. That just didn't happen. The Usos teamed with Rey Mysterio to take on the new Wyatt family. Harper, Rowan, Bryan. Good amount of back and forth. Bryan's outfit has slightly changed in that he's a little bit more of a combination of the two attires you currently see the Wyatts wear. He pretty much has on like the blue jumpsuit with like a white beater on underneath. Totally glad that, Brie did anything with Daniel Bryan, or they've had anything on television to show Brie being concerned that her fiance has been kidnapped and is going through the brainwashing process with the Daniel Bryans. Totally glad they're going through that. Because, they made the big deal when Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella got engaged. There was a huge production about it. Even brought it down to the ring when he was feuding with Randy Orton. But now that he's decided that he wants to become a monster and join the Wyatt family, they're doing nothing with it. So the match overall was pretty decent. They show there's some miscommunication. There's still not a good cohesive amount of trust, which led to the Wyatts getting defeated. Next week, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Wyatt, are going to take on the Usos. Should be a unique match. I was glad they did the backstage segment with that to really kind of reinforce what's going on with that group. Worked well. As Big E Langston was coming down the ring to have his match with Curtis Axel, he walked past Nikolai Volkov, who was thinking, Ted DiBiase, IRS. So a lot of people kind of got that you walk past the moment. His match with Axel was short and to the point. He should destroy Curtis Axel. It's just period. Some light jaw-jacking between himself and Ryback. Actually, a Ryback-Big E Langston match could probably work pretty well. Batista threw his name into the list of people going on for the Royal Rumble. Okay. The new and improved Sin Cara turned on Bertha Del Rio again. But this time, Del Rio won. Of course, threw his name into the Royal Rumble. Lesnar came out with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman did his typical shtick. Mark Henry comes down. Mark Henry, Brock Lesnar get into it. Nice back and forth. Lesnar hits him with a Kimura. Pretty much puts him on the shelf. Big Show comes down. Nice standoff between these two. Scratching better part of Valor. Lesnar's like, I'm not getting involved with this. But goes back into the ring. Gets manhandled by Big Show. I read an article on Bleacher Report where they're saying that people like Batista and Brock Lesnar need to help build and help establish new stars. I'll be kind of honest. After seeing that exchange, Big Show, Brock Lesnar works. Big Show, Mark Henry works. By extension, if Brock Lesnar and Mark Henry, by extension, if that works and he puts Mark Henry on the shelf, Big E Langston, Brock Lesnar would be an interesting match. It would be a unique sort of feud. Now, of course, spitballing this, here's the absolute dream scenario. CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble. John Cena defeats Randy Orton, setting up a rematch, Elimination Chamber between Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Brock Lesnar destroys John Cena. John Cena is now not in the main event at WrestleMania, therefore allowing John Cena to go for the challenge of The Undertaker. CM Punk, having won the Royal Rumble, gets to take on Brock Lesnar in the main event at WrestleMania to become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, defeat Brock Lesnar, and finally drive a stake through Paul Heyman's black heart, finalizing their feud entirely. Just throwing that out there. Triple H, new head of creative, if you're listening, make it happen, bro. Make it happen. Too Cool. Yes, Scotty 2 Hotty, Grandmaster Sexay, and Rikishi took on 3MB. Scotty 2 Hotty is in ridiculous shape right now. He's a professional fireman. Of course, he hits the worm. Of course, just being old school Raw, you can be okay with a move that's got like a 20-second setup to it. Knowing that in the process of doing this move, your opponent is laying there. You really could have pinned him like 6 times, but it's old school Raw. It's a really over-the-top move. He hit it. It was great. Crowd went nuts. Rikishi gets the pinfall from doing kind of a bonsai drop. You can tell he wasn't briefed well enough in advance to get himself into a better level of shape, but overall, decent match. The Bellas took on Oksana and Alicia Fox. Brie missed her dropkick. Well, before she screamed Brie mode, if you've watched Total Divas, you know that that's what happens when she's in like an alcoholic stupor binge. So misses her missile dropkick Brie mode style and gets pinned by Oksana, who still had probably some of the worst ring music, with the weird, like, bad adult erotica style music. But they're trying to build her into something without letting her talk on the show, but she has a pretty decent spot in JBL and Cole show. The Brotherhood. Love the new t-shirt. The new Goldust Cody Rhodes t-shirt looks fantastic. Took on the Real Americans. Beautiful match. Only one complaint. You cannot put the Cesaro swing as something you only see on the WWE app. I know it's the way to push the app. You want to see Cesaro swing, you had to download the app. If you don't know how to download the app, just watch a Raw from a couple of weeks ago where he spent like a third of the time discussing the app. For the vote of the week, you got to choose who the guest referee was for the rematch of Damien Sandow and the Great Khali. Your options were Bob Backlund, Arn Anderson, and Sergeant Slaughter. All names with full of alliteration. Of course, people picked Sergeant Slaughter. And Khali won. I don't know if Damien Sandow if he ticked somebody off, but he's gone from feuding with Dolph Ziggler, winning that feud, to take on Big E Langston to lose that match to feud with the Great Khali. Seriously, I just no idea what in the world they're trying to do with him. Then we'll get backstage here. Had DDP. Do I have my DDP yoga book sitting out here? Oh, do I have you sitting around that I can easily get to you? Oh, I do believe that I do. Ah, there it is. So, of course, he had to hype the DDP yoga. It's Ancient Mama's yoga. There's another shot in the back. Now, I can't do that, and he's relatively old. If you get to meet Diamond Dallas Page, I do recommend definitely do talking to him. He'll show you how he can do that really creepy stand on one leg and like put his other leg up like super high in the air. It was him and Booker T, which led, of course, to Ron Simmons showing up. Covered everything except for your main event. Mean Gene came down to the ring to do the announcing for this portion. He had some great things to talk about the city of Baltimore. However, you had to call the hotline to find out. If you're an old school wrestling fan, you know the hotline used to be the lifeblood of the industry before the birth of the internet. Period. He then calls out the New Age Outlaws, who then go through the process of doing their shtick like they haven't missed a beat. They then introduce CM Punk. My first thought was, come on, 6-man. I'm thinking Punk, New Age Outlaws, The Shield, awesome match. Instead, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Roman Reigns has been on an absolute tear ever since Survivor Series, where he destroyed pretty much the entire team by himself. Last couple times on SmackDown, he's been the only successful member of The Shield. This time against CM Punk, fantastic match. You know, when you see CM Punk going for his slingshot move, only to be caught in midair by the Superman punch. Great match, great back and forth, with Roman Reigns hitting a spear out of nowhere to get the 1, 2, 3 and beat CM Punk. And then the Shield's going for the post-match beatdown. Jake the Snake Roberts come down with Damien. CM Punk and the New Age Outlaws pretty much knock the ring clear of the Shield. Helicopter spin GTS. They then drop Damien on top, and pretty much Raw goes off the air. With Jake the Snake Roberts, CM Punk and the New Age Outlaws with Damien chasing off the Shield. That's how you start a new year. You begin with Flair, you end with CM Punk, Jake the Snake Roberts, and the New Age Outlaws.